Beta.
That's how I feel about Candace Owens' staff or YouTube team in general for for striking down my video for using some of Candace Owens' content that I've seen everybody use, and I used it under the guidelines of fair use. I think that was some nautical nonsense. But we are moving on. We are moving on. We're going to get this thing started. We're going to fire it back on up. Going to fire it back on up. Going to re-roll the intro and see if we can some way somehow make a show out of this thing. See if we can some way somehow make a show out of this thing. We'll recap what I was talking about, or I'll just finish saying what I was going to say, more or less, give or take. And then we'll just get into just an open panel, open discussion, and chop it up for a little bit, and then we get the hell out of here. But thank you, everybody. I see people making it back in here. I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. But let's go ahead. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What's going on, good people? We are back in the building. YouTube came and got me. I don't think it was YouTube. I think it was somebody on Candace Owens' team. Some of the people that got big channels like that, they have people that sit there and go scour the internet checking to see if anybody is doing their content. And when they find somebody, they use their YouTube power and status to get YouTube to move faster than normal. So they took me down while I was live on the air. That happened. So we just firing it back up. Oh, hold on. I'm being told that it's a YouTube problem. They apparently cut everybody, including Coach Greg Adams and Anton. Huh. So maybe it wasn't Candace Owens people. Maybe it wasn't Candace Owens people that did it. That's interesting. Okay, somebody, that's the first thing they said. It's YouTube. No streams are working. Interesting. All right, well, okay. So is this Sloppy Seconds, the Uneducated Lame says? Yes, this is Sloppy Seconds. Wait, they already striked it. I'm being told everybody got hit. Huh, so I should have came right back with the same topic and the same, everything I planned on, but we'll play it safe. But Snuggles said drop the link, and Snuggles, this is the one time you told me to drop the link and it actually worked. I dropped it. See? I'm just playing. I would have did anyway. Ephraim McKenzie, Snazzy Individual, Charles Merchant, Perfect Storm, F Holiday says, "We back." Mr. Negative Man in the building. He says, "Have you seen the single mothers only need to be financially stable, not married, or even have the father present videos?" I don't know if I've seen specifically what you're talking about, but I do know that that's a thing. Like that. I don't know if put a link in the channel to a link in the chat to what you specifically talking about, so I can know if we are generally talking about the same thing. But I've been seeing that for a minute. It's a whole channel. I forget the name of it, where that's basically, they don't just talk about that, but that's a reoccurring thing. That's a reoccurring theme where they're basically spending an inordinate amount of time essentially talking about how they don't need a man. They don't want a man. They don't want to be around a man. It's better to be without a man. Men ruin your life. That's basically the gist of it. That's basically the gist of it. So yeah, drop that link so I can know specifically what you're talking about. And okay, let's go ahead and get into it. Like you can see, I changed the title. It's Freestyle Friday. Y'all pick the topic. The link is in the chat. We can talk about anything, ask questions, and he said there's various videos and Twitter threads that I've seen it. I mean, that's a normal reoccurring thing that's been going on. That's sort of the whole idea, that if they can get financially stable, they can take care of a family without a man. But typically the amount that they use the amount that they could take care of a family with, that same amount, they tell you that that's not enough to take care of a family. You could be making more, and they'll say you can't take care of a family off that, but they're currently taking care of themselves and some kids with less. That's kind of what the thing is. That's kind of what it is. He says, someone want to talk about black women. Yeah, women will come up. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. He says, I want to talk about tricking. Yeah, want to talk about tricking way too much. Way too much. Way too much. Yeah, Paul Game with assistance. Yeah. But yeah, we want to talk about tricking way too much. It was funny. I was having this conversation off the air with somebody, and I was like, I'm glad the passport versus game thing is kind of dying down, because I kind of get exhausted talking about that shit. Because it's stupid. It's stupid that we have to explain to men that the whole idea and concept of traveling, going to a foreign country and dealing with some foreign women on vacation is, I mean, just the concept of that, we have to explain that sounds, fun. We have to explain that that's kind of fun. Like, we shouldn't have to explain that. We shouldn't have to explain. Like, and keep in mind, I haven't been, I've left the country, like Canada, but I haven't been, over to the country that they talk about. But based on everything they say, I mean, it sounds like a good time to me. We got to explain that. All of a sudden, y'all care about, well, you got to know about the dangers of what's going on out there. It's like, are you that concerned when it comes to the dangers of what goes on with dealing with women here? Like, I mean, come on. That's an interesting one. What laws can we realistically get passed to help men out? Realistically, I just, this piggybacks on the stream I did yesterday. The freaking mandatory DNA test at birth. I like that one. I think that's a good place to start. Mandatory DNA test at birth and automatic 50-50 custody until like 50-50 custody should be the default. 50-50 custody should be the default. And somebody has to petition the court to get that changed. Not the mother is the owner of the child. I'll say owner. Not the mother is the owner of the child. And then the man has to petition the court with his back against the wall with one hand tied behind his back in order to change that. Those two things right there, yeah, as a A1 reparation says, paternity fraud protection, and 50-50 custody is the default until somebody petitions the court to change it. You should have to fight to get the dad out of the kid's life instead of the dad having to fight in order to be in. Because as it says in the state of Michigan, and I've done content on this, when a child is born and they're not married, the woman is the presumed parent and legal guardian of the child. It basically, long story short, they put some more legal language and mumbo jumbo on it. But the fact of the matter is, no matter how they're basically saying, nigga, it's her kid, not yours. It only becomes your kid when you take legal action to make him your kid. So it's her kid. Your ass got to go in there and fight her in order to get a piece of the kid. In order to get a piece of the kid. Like that's the law in Michigan. And it's like, I presume it's like that in most places. So yeah. Those are the two things that I would say. Those are two things that I would say. And the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Anybody can come up because we just gonna chop it up. We just gonna chop it up here. On my last stream, we had 4 contributors. We do need to get some contributors in here to make this worth my while. They took me off the air. Like that was some bullshit. I had 300 people in here at the 1 hour mark. Was about to drop the link, was about to get a good show going, and they shot me down. Ruined all my momentum. That kind of pissed me off. But shout out to everybody in here. Make sure I hit the like button. Lets people know that we back on the air so they can come back on in and hop on in the conversation. But the divorce courts needs to have mandatory paternity testing. Divorce court? Yeah, divorce court needs that, but we can get out in front of that. We can get out in front of that if it's just mandatory at birth. If it's mandatory at birth, then it's gonna have to be, divorce court paternity if it's mandatory at birth. But there's that. But Joe Ethereal, my man, came through hard and heavy-handed with a $100 cash app. he made it worth my while. That whole YouTube killing my momentum shit. And he sent that right before I said something too. Shout out to Joe Ethereal, who came through with a $100 cash app. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate it, coming on through hard and heavy handed on the cash. Coming through hard and heavy on the cash app. And like I said, the link is in the chat. Let me put that one at the top. Hold on. How do I star that? Wait a minute. I'm trying to star RM's comment there. Trying to star RM's comment so that could be in the chat so people can know. We open paneling this thing today. Not star it, but pin it. Trying to pin it. Not star it, but pin it. All right. There it is. That's pinned to the top. Everybody can hop on in and chop it up. But like I said, this is a conversational, listener-driven show. Ask me anything. We'll talk about it. We'll chop it up. Freeman's General in the building says, support Black male media. Stop free. Okay, you I don't believe in calling them no losers. Don't do that. We don't do that here. Support Black male media. Stop free riding losers. Go buy I'm Charlie Walker on Amazon too. I don't even know. I got it. Yeah. Okay. I may take you up on that one. Car designer Chris in the building says the states doesn't want to reform child support. We know they don't. We know they don't. However, the mere fact that Stacey Abrams has to get a specific black male agenda because she's realizing she can't win. She can't beat Kemp because she don't have black male votes. So they're understanding that black men are in our own way. I don't know if mobilizing is the right word, but I would definitely say galvanizing the ideas, thoughts, minds, perspective, um, are changing. The thoughts, mind, perspective, ideas, and values, and just awareness of black men is changing, and the manosphere has a lot to do with that. And that effect is happening, is being changed at the ballot box to the point to where they can't ignore it. So now it may not be just that simple if Democrats want elections for them to say that no, we don't want this thing done, so it's just not going to get done. Now, one area where we could be making a mistake, and some people try to call us on that, just going and just voting Republican. Well, okay, if you're giving your vote to the Republican freely. Now, you never cared that we was giving the vote freely to the goddamn Democrats, but now if it's going freely to the Republicans, now it's a problem. But I don't want us to make the mistake to where we just give the vote to the Republicans, and then they also just say, okay, we can count on 20% of the black male vote. All right, cool. We still going to ignore them. It's like, no, we should want to figure out something. Play the political game the right way to where we make them essentially earn that vote. You know, that's ideally what I would want to see happen. That's ideally what I would want to see happen. But car designer Chris says the states doesn't want to reform child support because if they can't find the father, the state and taxpayers will be on the hook for feeding the children. Absolutely. That's why, yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that they don't want to do for that reason right there that you just gave. Shout out to Wizard X in the building. Oh, damn. Hold on. Yeah, Freeman Journal, you're right. The men already married need protection too. Good call. Good call. I was saying change it at birth, but those who are already there, kids already born, already married, yeah, they would need that protection on the back end just to make sure we good. Because when I did that paternity fraud case, I told y'all that was the only time I got kind of tinfoil hat. That was the only time I kind of put my tinfoil hat on, when I was like, the mere fact that there's no way to find hard evidence or a hard study or some hard data that shows the exact paternity fraud rate, I just tend to believe they know it, they just don't want to put it out there. You know, it was so many conflicting stories where this so-called expert was saying, I believe it's at around 5%. This other so-called expert said 10 to 15%, 10%, 12%. It was like a goddamn auction of what we're gonna 5, 45. It's like damn, like y'all don't know. Like shit, ain't this what y'all do? Like, but Wizard X in the building says, have you heard about the black GOP candidate John Gibbs' comment on the fem movement? I was thinking feminist movement. Sounds pretty red pill to me. He's running out of Michigan. Send me that comment. Send me that comment. We'll talk about it. Weather says, I have a question. The energy that you took to type out, I have a question, that's when you should have been typing out the question. That's why you'll never have a wrench over here again, Weather. You'll never have a wrench over here again. Nick Taylor in the building says child support is a cash cow for the country / state, so they're not pressed to make any changes yet. I mean, it's true. It's true. Says they overestimated the black vote in Georgia. Yes, they did. The black male vote. They overestimated it. Says he does think women should have the right to vote. What are you talking about? Who art thou talking about? Abrams claimed hearing a baby's heartbeat after 6 weeks is sexist propaganda so men can control women's bodies. Shaking my head. That's one chubby idiot. Here's the problem with that. When I looked up the abortion data, it was more men who were pro-life than women, but not by that much. They were in like the high or mid 40s. Men were like in the low or mid 50s. Maybe 6 percentage points, difference between where men on abortion and women on abortion. So just like she's saying, men are trying to do that to control women's bodies. Apparently, women are interested in controlling women's bodies, other women's bodies as well, because they're just as much anti-abortion as men. So to try to do that, when they try to do that, they're trying to drum up and rally and galvanize women to think that there's this oppressive male boogeyman that's trying to control you. That's essentially what that is. They're trying to galvanize the women into thinking that there's oppressive male boogeyman out to try to control you, trying to control your body. That's what they want to that's what they essentially want to make the women think. They want to make the women think that. But so that's one layer of bullshit in her response. The other layer of bullshit, 6 weeks. I've seen ultrasounds at 6 weeks with my children. Unless that's sort of what happens. The nurse or doctor or whoever, whatever the job title of the person who's doing the ultrasound stuff with us. She's like, okay, do you want to see the heartbeat? You want to hear, and like there's like it's like sort of like a moment when you can hear the heartbeat. And I don't know the exact time, but it's somewhere around 6 weeks or a couple months. It's somewhere around that time where yeah, you can. I've been right there in the room. You could, the heartbeat is a real thing. So yeah, that's nonsense. That is nonsense. Like I want to say, there's a concept of, is this person crazy, ignorant, or lying? I don't think she's that ignorant. I don't think she's crazy. I'm gonna have to go with lying. That was a game that it was a podcast used to play that game. It was called Crazy, Ignorant, or Lying. They would take a politician or some type of pundit of something of some sort. Really used to do that with a lot of Christian apologists who used to, they used to take them. They used to, play a clip of them or just mention their name, assuming that the audience just knew exactly who the person was. Typically, it was with somebody that the audience knew exactly who they were, and they would ask the question: is this person crazy, ignorant, or lying? Is he crazy, ignorant, or lying? And and so when I play that same game with Stacey Abrams, I come to the conclusion she's lying on that one. I come to the conclusion that she's lying on that one. Yeah. I think she's lying. Nate Dogg in the building says, but hold up. Let me get to Nate Dogg. I'll ask we'll deal with weather in a little bit. Says Abrams, as a leftist liberal, believes in a woman's right to eat her children. She does not believe that. Abrams believes in a woman's right to eat everything else, apparently. She believes in a woman's right to eat anything that's edible and however much she wants. She believes in that. She does not believe in eating children. Let's not spread falsehoods. She supports a woman's right to overeat, but not to eat children. Weather says, Bernard, what is red pill? And is the black manosphere, in your honest opinion, truly a red pill pet space? Red pill is about knowledge and understanding, or understanding the true picture of reality, or accepting the true picture of reality for what it is. So it's about awareness. It's about truth, understanding, and awareness of the true state of reality. That's what red pill is. So to the next question, is the black manosphere, in your honest opinion, truly a red pill space? Abso-fucking-lutely. far more red pill than any other group of men anywhere. Any other group of black men anywhere. Show me a group of black men under whatever title, whatever organization, whatever the hell that's operating more red pill than the black manosphere. Explain that. Now, if you're talking about particular people that went left on it, that's another story. If you're talking about the black manosphere growing and people from all other different types of algorithms have kind of came in, and so it's like a big collective cocktail of black YouTube mixed in and intertwined with the black manosphere. If you're talking about that aspect of it, if you're calling Melanie King's channel and or Melanie Monaco and the people that call in to get pineapple, if you're calling them black manosphere, then no. But if you're doing that, you're full of shit, because that's not a black manosphere channel. That's just a channel that did its thing and grew, and it kind of got entangled, into the manosphere algorithm. But explain to me how and by what standard is the black manosphere not a red pill space? Explain that one. That's what I would love to know. That's actually a good damn topic. That's actually a good damn topic. Explain to me, how is it not? 159 people in here. Shit, my views just dropped. It was at 179. It just went to 156. Uh-oh. Am I getting knocked off the air again? Okay, you said, I knew you were going to answer half right and half wrong. Explain the part where I'm half wrong. You said you got the first part right, but you misapplied the definition to the space. Explain. He said, seriously, with a smiley face. Explain. Explain. I'll wait. I really want to hear this. I really want to hear, especially when it comes to women. I want to hear, is there any space that you could think of, even you can go and get 10 rappers, I'm talking about actual rappers that get paid to rap. Get 10 of them in a room talking about women, they'll say some blue pill shit. Like where do you, so I want to hear this. RM said Weather call. Weather ain't calling up. I don't think Weather ever got on the panel. I don't think Weather has ever got on a panel. But Weather, if you don't explain yourself, you're being a coward to just randomly say, I got one part wrong. Okay, here we go. All right. He said, this space is purple pill by and large, with only a handful of red pill content creators sprinkled on the fringes. You have to explain. If you're going to say it's purple pill, what's purple pill about it? Explain what's purple pill about it. Because that purple pill can be a faulty concept. Because some people think if you're in a relationship at all, you're purple pill. That's what some people think. Actually, Ed was on, and Ed said something like that, but then I asked him, yeah, but okay, but what if you're in that relationship, but it's a relationship on your terms and you get what you want, how you want it, when you want it, she eat out of your hand and love your dirty drawers and do whatever the fuck you say. Are you purple pilled in? And then he said no. So again, what's purple pill? If you say just being in a relationship is purple pill, I disagree. It matters what type of relationship. If you're in a relationship where she got you by the balls, if you want to please, baby, please relationship, then yeah, some purple pill shit in there. So explain. Dark Knight Mentality says purple pill is when you understand red pill concepts but choose to operate in a blue pill world. I understand what you're saying right there, but it's some gray area in that. Not some gray area in that. There's a lack of specificity in what you're saying to choose to operate in a blue pill world. If the majority of men are blue pilled, then the majority of the world is blue pill. So when you say choose to operate in a blue pill world, what do you mean? It's almost like if you play the game at all, you're purple pill. That's what Hood Servative said in response to Ed. When Ed was basically saying like Hood Servative responded to Ed by saying that so you're basically saying if you're having sexual relationships with women, you're purple pill. And then Ed, took a step back on that one. So explain what you mean by if you choose to operate in a blue pill world. What does that mean? The majority of the world is blue pill. A man has a woman and the relationship is on his terms and she follows his lead and does what he says, is he now purple pill? That's really the question to get down to the core of what's your delineation that you're making between purple and red. Black manosphere cannot be truly red pilled because too many are Democrats. They could be definitely blue pilled to the idea of politics. Like, for example, when Candace Owens, who my stream got taken down, she had a channel called Red Pill Black. She had a channel called Red Pill Black, basically saying she's red pill and she's black, but in the context of politics. Because if you believe whole hog and eyes closed, mouth open when it comes to the Democrats, when it comes to the liberal agenda, and you actually think it's beneficial for you or beneficial for black people, you are pretty damn blue pill. If you haven't done your research, you don't know your history on it, you are pretty damn blue pill. I'm not saying that it's not possible that in a local election, it may be some policies pushed by Democrats that may be beneficial for black people. I'm not saying that that's not possible, I do think marijuana should be decriminalized. And there's more liberals pushing for that. So in my local election, I'll vote to decriminalize it. So in that sense, I'm liberal on that issue. So I'm not saying that a Democratic politician cannot offer anything useful. I'm just saying the overall broad scope of liberalism and their relationship with black people when it comes to politics, if you think that's overall good for black people, yeah, I do think you're a little blue pill when it comes to that. But I don't think most people in this space are Democrats. I think when it comes to the black manosphere, you're going to get and this goes back to my point against Weather, you're going to get the highest concentration of conservative, right of center conservative men who will either vote Republican, likely to vote Republican, or at least open to it, give or take a few circumstances, or they're just going to vote, I don't know, Green Party, or not going to vote for either party. I would say if I had to guess in the black manosphere, I would say it's probably about 30% who probably 30 to 40 that probably vote Republican, probably another 30 or so that ain't voting Republican or Democrat, and then it's probably about 30 Democrat. Find any other group or collection of black men that got those demographics. You won't. So again, when it comes to politics, the black manosphere is more red pill than any other group of black men ever. And when it comes to interactions, dealings, and social dynamics between black men and black women, or men and women in general, black manosphere is more red pill than any other group of black men that you're ever going to find. So going back to my point against Weather, how is the black manosphere not a red pill space? I want to know that. But he probably already answered. So let me search through the chat room. In a relationship where the man has leverage and the man stays in control is a proper relationship. I agree, Little Big Nate. Agree 100%. Weather says there's a distinct difference between, say, Roger Report and Thinking Man's Templar. Roger, by all accounts, is purple. Thinking Man's Okay, you're using somebody who I'm not that familiar with and thinking man's Templar. I'm not that familiar with him. Is red / backpill across the board. Okay, so I think you're drawing the distinction in a man is truly red pill if he's either if he's some form of MGTOW. I think that's the conclusion that you're drawing. So I have to ask you, are you red or purple or blue? Because you said you were in a relationship. So you're not a MGTOW with a girlfriend. Even though I heard somebody say you can be. So I got to ask you that question. Now, Roger Report is definitely red pill. He's hardcore red pill on a lot of stuff. But so I don't know. I don't know what makes him purple. I don't know what makes him purple. I think it's because he believes in the concept of a proper relationship with a man leading the woman and the woman following his lead. But I think he has a healthy understanding that in this modern time, with these modern women in this modern environment, the prospects and probability of getting that is a lot less. That does not make him purple or blue. That means he's red pill. That means he idealistically, he believes that something is good and it works best for society and it works best for men if there's this type of arrangement. But as long as he has a healthy understanding of why this arrangement is not happening and why, in all the circumstances and factors in the environment that is getting in the way of it happening, and he's not advocating for men to run into the buzzsaw and alpha their way through it, you cannot call that man blue or purple. You can't. You're full of shit if you are. You're full of shit if you are. Whether it says Roger Report represents the worldview of this space at large. No, it doesn't. I mean, you're picking somebody and saying this person represents the worldview of this space at large to make a point. You're cherry picking one individual to try to make a larger point about the space. But I just explained my perspective of Roger Report, and that he's still red, where Thinking Man Templar and his worldview really has no place here. I don't know what his worldview is. I'm seriously not familiar with his channel, so I wish you find somebody else to use as an example so I can know what you're talking about. Bernard Riley, who is promoting decriminalization? I see Democrats pushing legalization so marijuana can be regulated to death. Libertarians are promoting decriminalization. Good point. I accept that. Bernard, but that's not liberalism. Liberalism is libertarian. Being statist is the correct term for Black people, namely the women. Statist. Whatever. Trying to make it down to the bottom. Make it down to the bottom. Why is that the views in the Black manosphere are the same as the views in the white supremacist manosphere? Why is it that the views in the Black manosphere are the same as the views in the white supremacist manosphere? I really don't watch that much of the white supremacist manosphere. I'd have listened to Rollo talk about a few topics, and I think Rollo is pretty damn smart and breaks things down pretty good. But overall, I don't really know what the hell they're talking about. But one area where I think the white and the Black manosphere does agree on is that feminism in the overreaches of it politically, and the cultural movement of it has affected things drastically, and affected the social order and the natural order between men and women drastically. So I think that's where the major commonality is, where they're pretty anti-liberal leftist agenda, because that liberal leftist agenda, and everything that basically happened to made it to where women can more easily live without men, that's result in a high out of wedlock birth rate, and basically I ain't trying to go in that much, but basically a lot of movements coming out of the 60s going into the 70s has basically put us right now in the post-apocalyptic aftermath of all of that, to where we're dealing with some of the most unmarriageable, untolerable, unbewithable in a serious context, especially involving a family. It made us in that sense, with the group hashtag not all, but overall a group of really the most unmarriageable women ever on earth. So the black manosphere and the white manosphere generally agrees with that. And so, being on the liberal Democrat side of things, you're kind of voting to enable that, to enable and subsidize this thing that created the problem that ultimately led to the manosphere coming into existence. So that's the thing that's where the black manosphere and the white manosphere agree on. Now, whether or not it's some of them that are some white supremacists, I don't know, and I don't care, because that's just not. That's not my. I don't know. It's balanced, 32% Democrat, Republican, and Independent. All right. Weather, but the space isn't red pill though. Weather says, but the space isn't red pill though. Yeah, you keep saying that, but I think you conflate red pill and MGTOW. I think the only reason you say that is because you conflate red pill and MGTOW. He says we're NGTOW. All right, I think you conflate red pill and MGTOW. If you're not MGTOW, you're not red pill. I honestly think. Yeah, a little bit, Nate. Here we go. The white man. What is a white supremacist manosphere? Yeah. Yo, Bernard, what do you think will win? I don't know. I'm not up. I said we talk about anything, but we ain't doing sports today. I did a whole show that just turned into all sports, but we ain't doing sports. Sorry. We ain't doing sports. But honestly, I don't know. I'm not really up on. I'm more of like a historian when it comes to the boxing. I could give you a better in-depth analysis of of older fights than what I can about the recent shit that's going on. But oh damn, I made it to the bottom. Okay, now Weather trolling me. Now Weather's trolling me. He asked me, "Is a woman king red pill?" You answer this question. If being in a relationship makes you purple pill, and recently, as a couple months ago, it was brought up that you were in a relationship. So Weather, are you purple pill? That's what I want to know. Car designer Chris in the building says, let's look at mode 1. Mode 1 is full on the masculine frame, but mode 2 is the second best option. Most married men are mode 2. They compromise? Let's look at mode 1. Mode 1 is full on masculine frame. Yeah, I mean, mode 2 and this is where I think you're wrong. You says mode 1 is full on masculine frame, but mode 2 is the second best option. Married men are mode 2. They compromise. Being a married man or marrying a woman or being with a woman long term, it has nothing to do with how you approached. Like you could have been mode 1 and aggressive with a woman, or just let a woman know in the first 5 minutes of getting with her that you were interested in having some type of sexual relationship with her. That still doesn't mean that 2 years later that y'all wouldn't get married. And if you were mode 2, you could meet a woman and you could be kind of vague about what type of sexual relationship you wanted to have with her. That still doesn't mean 2 years later that y'all can't end up married. So whether you're mode 1 or mode 2 in the initial approach has nothing to do with whether or not you actually want to get married to said woman. So I don't see how that's a thing. You're saying they compromise. I get what you're saying right there, that if you're not if you're mode 2, if you're indirect, you're more than likely to compromise, because if you don't have the I guess balls to clearly state what you want, when you get whatever you get, it may be a diminished version of that. So that's where a mode 2 man is more likely to compromise. But that doesn't mean that a mode 1 man it won't get married. I mean, the Mr. Mode 1 himself is married. so there's that. No, mode 3 is flat out lying pretty much. Mode 2, okay, mode 1 is upfront saying exactly what you want and under what terms and conditions. Mode 2 is being vague and ambiguous about what you want and under what terms and conditions. Mode 3 is just flat out telling that woman, I am interested in a relationship, and I see that possibility with you, and we are proceeding forward in this relationship under the agreed upon assumption that if things go well, we will absolutely be in a committed monogamous relationship. And here's my 3-year plan, and this is how I could see you in it. Let's go, baby. Let's do it. But once you get the pussy 2 or 3 times, you done. Like, you had full malice of forethought. You knew 100%. Even if it took 3 months, I mean, even if it took 90 days, once you get that pussy 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you're done. That's mode 3. So I can't do mode 3. I can't do mode 3. Mode 2, yeah. Vague and ambiguous for at first, but then wait for the right moment to pounce. Yeah, out the gate with it. Nah, that wouldn't me. There was a few times when I did, but overall, that's my general take. That's my general take on that. So that's why I didn't fully understand your point there. Didn't fully understand your point there. But Weather in the Building says the pills were about societal awareness, not okay, here we go. Now you're going to pretend like the manosphere and red pill and all that. It ain't got nothing to do with women. Y'all just added that later. Cut it out. Cut it out. The pills were about societal awareness, not hoes, but men will be men, especially black men. And well, I got to get the bitch, but better. You haven't answered my question, Mr. Red Pill. If it is the case that that if you're in a relationship, you are purple pill, if you believe that, and if you stated before that you are in a relationship, I'm asking, are you purple pill? And if you are purple pill, why are you then criticizing the manosphere for saying it's no longer a red pill space, and and based off your own definitions and your current life that you're living, you are the embodiment of a non-red pill. So explain that one, Weather. You're dodging that. If Weather actually explains that, star that one for me. If Weather actually explains that, because I don't want to miss it. I got Ed coming up here, so I want to go to Ed. So star that one for me. Oh, he answered twice. Admin, go back and start that so I can get an answer to that question, because I missed it. Yeah, start that one for me. Go up, find it when he answered that question. Okay, here. Oh, I found it. All right, it says, I'm red pill, but you guys relegate the pill nonsense to women in dating almost exclusively. That's not answering the question. That's called aim. That's called acknowledge, ignore, then move on. You did not answer the question. You just acknowledged the question, then ignored it, and then moved on to something else, hoping that I respond to what you moved on to. Nice tactic, but you didn't answer the question. Anyway, what's going on, Ed? What's going on?
No, not much. I mean, when you deal with people that want to play dumb and you don't want to block them, because that's where I'm at. I'm on to get off my lawn, block. When people want to act stupid, I'm like, you need to bring your ass up. Like with the dude that said, what's the difference between, notice how he characterized, the racist white manosphere, the racist white manosphere. I'm like, dude, you need to bring your ass up and verbalize that shit. Now I don't know what the other dude was talking about when it comes to the difference between red pill. Red pill just means to be aware. That's it. I
Yeah.
don't understand that. Now, when people say, "Well, what's the difference between red pill and MGTOW?" Well, MGTOW, SYSBM, you Passport Bros, which is not always the same as SYSBM, because technically, those are what do you do? What do you, even if you want to call it red pill dating? That's what do you do with that awareness? You're aware of not only you're not, because most black people, if you ask them, is the black community backwards? They'll say yeah. Now, when we start getting into the details of what that is, that's when you start separating people that's kind of full of shit for people that at least, or let me not even say that. That's when you separate the people that's actually fuck the black manosphere. I'm talking about even on your own. If you have taken the time to really look for yourself as to really paying attention to actually what is going on, and you're not in this typical it's the government, it's this, is that. I'm not saying it's not the government, but it's that's a piece. And it's like motherfuckers trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle, and they'll put together like maybe 10% of it and try to say, well, that's the whole puzzle. No, it's not. And it manifests in what people say. So they get emotional, and what they do is they start throwing out dumbass shit like, well, what is this? And what is that? And what's the solution? You know? So are we in agreement to what the fucking problem is before you fucking ask me what the solution is? But really, that's code for nigga. You on YouTube complaining. So nigga, what's the solution then? That's what.
Man, you just made a good point. I am using that. I am stealing that from you. Whenever anybody asks what's the solution, my first question is, are we in agreement on what the problem is first?
Yeah.
I would say 90% of the time when somebody say what's the solution, they don't have the answer or the problem, Sway.
What it is,
yeah,
that's not the purpose. That's not the purpose. The purpose is for them to say, well, look, Mr. YouTubian, you on TV that I see here. Since you complaining, a real man leads and has a solution. This is the goofy shit. It's not even what you talking about. Because if you actually ask them, okay, so what's the problem? And then they start nigga babbling. Because they don't even know. And I'm like, I ask these, why the fuck do you even listen to me? Like, why do you listen to me? Nigga, you lame. You sound like a female. Okay, I wouldn't want to hate watch somebody that I think sounds like a female that's a dude. I wouldn't even want to hate watch them.
Right.
And I'm talking niggas, they still chat. And I'll watch anyway. Don't get me started. Even like I ain't gonna bring up Clarence, because Clarence ain't even the worst of them. But Clarence always showing up to put in his volunteer cape hours, because you ain't getting paid for that shit. You're doing that shit for free.
Yeah, Clarence is a unique case. I mean, at the present moment, I'd say he's harmless, but because he's harmless because people acknowledge, accept, and understand that he's a blue pill pandering simp. It's the ones who don't get viewed and acknowledged as blue pill pandering simps that people accept them as red pill, but they still come in hating on red pill channels. That's where it muddies the water, where I start having a problem with them. It's like you're accepted in the club, but you're shitting on the club. It's like, nah, that's when I'm ready to block somebody. But if somebody like literally we know who's who, like, okay, this dude is for the sisterhood completely. He coming in here to basically ride. I came to ride on you niggas for these bitches. If he come in like that, then we know who's who. Come on in. Let's have the argument.
Well, the reality is, man, in this economy, you sitting here worried, like, take not Gabe, but Gabe that's like riding for Nicole Michelle. It's like, look, you're not Nicole is married. Kudos to her. And I mean that. I'm not being facetious about that. She went and got her. She told y'all motherfuckers what she thought she was going. The game is to be sold, not told. And yeah, she was selling the hell out of that game. Same thing, but what's the chick that's got her own reality show with the marriage thing? She's married. You know, the chick that she had the video telling black women, you know, they're delusional about their choices, and she wanted to regret it. I forget her name, the Christian chick. Anyway, the point is, these people are getting married. These people are they see the shit and they getting their shit taken care of. And then, but the point is, you riding for women talking about dudes need to pay X, Y, and Z. Here's the truth. The niggas, if the nigga gotta pay like $150, $200 for a date, she ain't into you like that. That's really what that is. And you will never, like, the same. I'm not even playing the dating coaches, but when people want to use shit like that, the lust factor, or she gotta really want it, trust and believe, if she really wants you, you ain't paying. She will accept that coffee date. In fact, she will accept a Netflix and chill if she really wants you like that. The pattern has already been established. So you sitting here wagging your finger about what dudes should do. Trust and believe, the dudes that know they ain't gonna do that are not gonna do that. And the dudes that might do that, they gonna put their hand on the hot stove enough where they're gonna get tired of doing that. So you're not held. So what you're doing is you're giving women this false sense of security as you gonna take up for them. Because truth be told, game ain't taking up for these chicks when it comes to paper and money that they need. They gonna be out here fucked. Black women are the most evicted demographic in the United States. That's black women saying that in all these articles. That's them writing these articles. You ain't helping them by wagging your finger at us. They still gonna be living in a fucking tent. Why they still saying niggas ain't shit?
Okay.
No, this ain't Gabe A. This is another Gabe.
No. It's another. Yeah. So he said it was Gabe A, the one who said brother. No. That was somebody.
No, that was not.
That's somebody else who I Ed brought him up, so I wanted to let Ed go on and riff on it. I didn't watch the show that he was on.
The thing he
was on Obsidian's show for some reason.
I didn't need to watch Obsidian shit.
I didn't. So
the reality is,
hold on, wait, time out. You're responding to it based off what you heard somebody else say about it.
No, I know. I've heard Gabe has said this outside of Obsidian's show.
Okay,
and then he got on Obsidian's show after he made his own video about it. Gabe knows. Gabe is not dumb. Gabe has checked women too. Gabe knows what time it is. That's why I brought him up after you said you were Red Pill.
I'm not, all right, cool. I mean, listen, I watched some of that conversation and the shit just seemed weird.
I'm not doing that because
a lot
of times Obsidian wants to argue.
That's where I'm at. The shit seemed weird for reasons I ain't about to get into. So I do want to kind of like I was trying. Yeah, I was trying not to even acknowledge the existence of that conversation, to be honest.
But there's a lot of but there's I
saw. Yeah, I know that shit. Anyway, I wouldn't even call some of that shit purple. Like I mean, like we got to call that blue.
So there's blue pill, is dark blue, is purple, and it's what I call rosé. And these are the dude, like Obsidian is rosé pill. He knows what time it fucking is, but he be wanting to dip in. But anyway,
I might have to use that rosé, baby.
Them rosé niggas. And I'm not saying that to be like feminine or something. What I'm saying is these are the dudes that want to pay. They want to do the high life. But they know what time it is. They've demonstrated. They definitely know. But I get it. A lot of it is about gaining viewership, man. That's really the name of the game for a lot of it. And I'm not saying these people don't have their own missions or anything. But let's be honest. Can we be honest for a second? Mm-hmm. If you've been in this game I'm not like this, but if you've been in the game for a while and then you see people coming up, this is why dudes get mad at the chicks like Chantel or them. But even with the dudes, when you see other dudes just come and fly by you, even Austin Holloman, motherfuckers be feeling some type of way about that. And so what it is that manner that they may not hate on another dude, but what it does is they start taking a look at their strategy and they're going to be like, what am I sacrificing advocating for these niggas? These niggas ain't putting money in my pocket. And so it's kind of like dipping into the dark side of the force. And then before you know it, you killing younglings.
Yeah.
That's, you know, and
that was a perfect analogy.
And it's not always you going blue pill. There's other dudes that they talk shit about this space because what they try to say is we're not hardcore enough. I'm not, you know, they be like, yeah, man, the problem is you let a woman on there and you didn't tell her that bitch needs to die, so you ain't real enough, nigga.
Yeah.
That's how it told, you know, anyway. I know you've been waiting for a minute.
Oh no, yeah, no, but no, good stuff, and good analogy, But all right, sort of said F them younglings. Car designer Chris in the building. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on through.
Yeah.
Real quick. Hold on, real quick.
Shout out to Tales from the Hood.
No, Riley, do you have employment restrictions? Do you have employment restrictions on the legal weed part? Cops, dentists, surgeons, governor, cab drivers, pilots, train engineers. What do you mean? Do you have employment restrictions? If you are on the job, and if the only way they could test that typically is if something happened on your job. Like, for example, it was a dude, he got cut at the job. It was a blue collar job, a piece of sheet metal cut his arm. He went to the basically he went up to me and he was like, hey Bernard, shit, man. It was a white dude. He's like, shit. Go tell the boss that he made up some excuse. Either he got sick, had food poisoning or something, or that his wife got rushed to emergency and he had to leave or something like that. He was like, just tell him that, because if he go tell the boss that, hey, I cut myself, they got to do an accident report and go through the protocol, and then if he go to the hospital, basically he wanted to make sure he went to the hospital off the record, not without insurance and nothing involved, because they would find, if it was on the record, they would find weed in his system. So, right. I'm saying that all that to say that if a dentist, surgeon, cab driver, pilot, train, engineer, the whole works, blah blah blah, they have an incident on their job, and then they find weed in their system. It should be like alcohol is legal, but you can't drink on the job.
Yeah, because that puts legal. That exposed corporations to litigation and stuff.
Yeah, weed should be legal, but you shouldn't be high on the job.
Right.
So there's that. That's where I'm at with that. That's where I'm at with that. All right. Osama Abdul says, okay, who is this? Oh my goodness. I'm trying to move on because I'm trying not to.
Yo, trust me, type in Nicole Michelle UBM and Gabe. It'll come up.
Actually, yeah, just type in UBM and Gabe, and once you hear him speak, you will understand why I'm like, what the fuck was he even here for? But anyway, not here, but anywhere affiliated. So that I'm trying not to even say anything about it. All right, let's move on. Car designer Chris in the building. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, real quick. What I was more on the analogies when I was saying compromise. Okay, so reading Mode 1, Alan Ryan Curry talks about Mode 2 being guys who still win, but not being 100% on frame, right? And then if we take the movie The Matrix, remember the one guy who has slipped out of the Matrix but chose to go back in because for him, he had more power in the Matrix. He could live the life he always dreamed of living.
Mm-hmm.
You think about a married man, right? A married man may go into a marriage red pill or Mode 1, but because he's in a marriage and he's built in something with a woman, let's say he has real estate, life insurance, children, so forth. At that point, he's going to start making compromises. He does discuss life issues and financial situations with his mate. At that point, he's no longer, or I think he's no longer can be 100% mode one, a red pill, stomping around the house, making demands. He has to discuss things with his wife. I think at that point he becomes more purple pill.
Okay, I understand what you're saying from the red pill concept.
Uh-huh.
Okay, put it like this. To be
Mode
Really,
one
really,
operates
hold on.
outside of the red pill.
Exactly. It's about being direct. That's really what it is.
Right, 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 right.
You're equating being mode one with being an uncompromising alpha male. But if you get married, there will be some give, take, and compromise.
Right,
Even
right.
even if it's 90% in your favor,
Right,
there's
right,
going
right,
to be. I mean, for the good of the family, it's going to be something that you don't want to do that you like. I got to go in and do this.
right.
You know, so
The
that's
question
where
is
that.
deception. When you compromise when you start lying. So let's say you want a side
Well,
chick and you start fraternizing or dealing with women on the side, and your wife has to find out. That's when it falls into what you talking about. Rather than, let's say she want to sit
I
here
don't
and
even think. I
deny
don't even
say.
think it's that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and
But
finish
what
up.
I'm saying with mode one is gonna, like, let's just give it to what it talked about. Let's, in a sexual instance, let's say a chick saying, I don't, she ain't trying to fuck because for whatever reason. And like this thing becomes like this becomes a pattern. And the dude say, look, I'm gonna get, if you maintain mode one, you either gonna, and here's the thing. When you breach mode one is if you start fucking with a chick on the side and you don't tell her, versus if you say, look, this is what it's gonna be. And see, that's when I can kind of see you talking in that purple pill. But outside of that, when you talk about some of the stuff you were talking about, compromising is not, if you're honest, then that's not necessarily not being mode one. It's when you start engaging in deception to try to
Ah,
get what you want.
yeah. Yeah, see, the way I have always looked at, think about going back to the analogy of a household, right? Um, some guys operate in the idea that I'm 100% the master of my universe. This house, I pay the
Them
bills, this
niggas are
my kids,
lying.
A, B, and C. But most guys, I am married. You can't operate like that because you're gonna find yourself. Look, you don't want to find yourself in divorce court, and then you really lose. So a little compromise goes a long way. You want to have the white picket fence. You want it to be red. All right, get you a red fence, and let's keep it moving. You want these kids to go to this particular school. I want them to go to that particular school. Let's meet in the middle. A lot of compromising has to be done in a marriage if you want to stay in a marriage. I believe anyway. So I equate I know when I'm moving, I'm not moving in mode one. I'm moving more in mode two and having success with that. Now, how that equates with the red pill versus purple pill, I'm not 100% sure. So you guys want to back
I
A-
don't
a-
think it do.
a-
I don't hold on real quick, Ed. I don't think it do because you can be you could be 100% red pill, but just mode two, you have it's just, you think it's just the most effective strategy
ah
at getting what you want from that woman.
right.
So I mean, so
and
that I think that's the misfire that you're having.
Yeah, and also another thing, and this is where it gets to overthinking it. First of all, the black manosphere does not talk about relationships. That's one of the biggest differences between the black manosphere and the white manosphere. Black manosphere does not talk about relationships. Black manosphere talks about fucking bitches. The after or the media, like, I'll give Angry Man talks about it too. He's like one of the only ones
Yeah.
that really consistently advocated for it. And people talk, even with Obsidian is advocating for acquisition of a chick, and like the area that goes when it comes to that, like, who women pick, why, outcomes, that sort of thing. We're not talking about, really, we don't really go into, and yes, it's mentioned, but we don't really go into depth into relationship dynamics like that. It just doesn't, it's not talked about in this space. The white boys talk, this is why body count don't matter over here like it does over there, because they're talking, a lot of times they're talking about relationships.
Yeah, right.
And even when you look at the black space from a purple pill standpoint, them chicks, like them, like even like the Hate Table or 3 Live Crew, what are they talking about?
Who is 3 Live Crew?
It's them 3 dudes with them chicks. Always these 3 chicks that's talking stupid. It's the 3 dudes, and then they always got a different New York chick that's saying a goofy.
The daily wrap up crew.
Okay, whatever.
Like
I'm not misfiring their names on purpose. It's just I don't be watching that shit because once you hear a dumb female talking, but you get what I'm saying. They're not talking about relationships. These chicks are talking about my man. Hell, Love Dorsey talks about more relationship dynamics than anybody talk about over here. That's just for real. And I'm not judging this because dudes be like, I'm married and that's it. Even Kevin kind of dabbled into it more as far as the breakup of the stuff, but really, so when we,
Kevin
really,
definitely, Kevin was on talking heavy about
Mo 1. So and Alan Roger Curry can speak on this, but Mo 1, I don't really look at Mo 1 is really more the acquisition of stuff.
Yes.
It's not a lot of stuff as far as okay after that, now it's like you got to maintain Mo 1. It's not even looked at like that. And another thing with black men too, and I gotta say this when it comes to marriage, the problem with black men is honestly black men don't have a real good compass. And I know black men that do, but most black men that are married, they have no good compass when it comes to how to compromise. Because the reality is black men compromise with black women in a way that no other group really does. Off gate, which is off gate. Well, and so what a lot of dudes call I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying general. What a lot of dudes call compromise. A lot of dudes, that shit is keeping the fucking peace. And there's a difference because you ain't really. It's just like 50-50. 50-50 ain't 50-50. It's really you doing all the work and then you giving her this idea that she's contributing in shit that don't matter, but she thinks she got the equal kind of vote when she's not doing the same kind of work. Because women never expect true 50-50. And even if it's money, let's say she is paying 50-50 with money. If she's paying 50-50 with money, it's because you are on a sexual marketplace the way she can't replace your ass at all. If she wanted to. And even then, they'll eventually resent that, which is why they start using the laws and the government to control you. So, I mean, shit, we just did, these chicks don't even believe in you raising kids that ain't even theirs. I said this on my channel that what black women want is for black men to accept a biracial baby that they got from a white man once a white man is done dealing with them. That's why they're so angry. They want us to accept that and know they play with that white man. When they come back, there's going to be a black man ready for them. Yeah, that is what they would call. Hold on. They would call that a compromise.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now looking at
I mean that more so than that. I mean they across the board, regardless of the race of the of the damn baby, they want that compromise. They want full social acceptance of, I got pregnant by whoever, whenever, however, still take me as this.
No, I understand that, but they want the white. No, they want. I get what you're saying, and that is true. They want the ability to reach out and try to get that white man and throw that pussy at him and get a baby, get that mixed baby, and then be able to fall back to. That's what they want. That's what they really want. And a lot of this divester, but they always in our space bullshit. That's where that's coming from. That's that angst. Now they know if they say that, even the bluest of the blue ain't getting on board with that because they're gonna feel clown. But that's really what they want. If you really want to understand why they wild out like they do, why do I mention that in this conversation? Because that's what that is what compromise is to them. That's not compromise to you. To you, that is basically that's beyond waving a white flag. That's basically you just saying you won the war and just basically jumping off a flight of stairs. But that's what they perceive as an actual compromise. So when I hear black men use the term compromise, and yes, there are reasonable women, 1 out of 5 black women operate within common sense. So I understand that. But most of these chicks are not reasonable. This is why average marriage in the black community lasts 5 years, and 80% of the time they divorcing that shit. And it's always dick and money as to the top 2 reasons as to why they're doing it. So anyway.
Yeah,
Osama, I'm about to just put the link to the channel you keep asking about. Like, I really don't care for the name of the individual to keep floating through my shit, but I'm about to just put the link to that channel there. I mean, like, we said he was on Obsidian, just a few videos down. Like, it's real easy to find.
You negotiating with Al Keisha.
Yeah. Shit. Here you go. I'm about to here go one of his videos right here.
He said about 30% of. Well, the reality is, if 30% of the black men in this space are married, the question is, why don't people not have a channel around that?
And you know, touche. Now,
hold on, but real quick before we go. All right, Osama, there it is right there. There it is right there. Shit. And after you click on, let me know after you click on it, so I can delete the shit. All right. Christian Hutchinson in the building. As he's saying, this is sort of an interesting question. He says, for the age we are, hold on. For the age we are, I think he means for the age we are in, the focus should slant towards relationship/family if we are truly being conservative. I think that's part of the conundrum that we're in. Like, a lot of us are more conservative oriented, believe in just, a patriarchal household and a man being in the lead and being in charge and running his family and blah, 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 blah. But we also understand the way that this whole structure and system and everything is set up in America. That whole patriarchal, I'm leading my family, all of that shit lasts under the condition that she don't walk her ass down to the courthouse and unsign or start fucking with them legally binding documents.
BGS said that all of that is a whole legal system. That patriarchy is not just some alpha man, and black men, like, type in BGS and patriarchy and type in BGS and matriarchy, it will come up. It is a legal framework, and you are not in a fucking patriarchal legal framework. That is not what you're in, and you have not been in. And that includes white men. You are not in a patriarchal. They get more latitude because they're white, to an extent, even though they get liquidated from their money, bad because they got it to liquidate, but you are not in a patriarchal framework. And so when people talk patriarchy without that legal framework, for real, you need the laws behind you. That's the biggest difference between these other countries. These other countries have the laws behind them, or what it is the economics severely punishes women for making bad decisions, because it just doesn't punish the women. It punishes the family that woman came from, because now they're forced to be burdened with this chick's mistakes. Right. And that's so they have a built-in reason to check that shit. The women have a built-in reason to check that shit. See, our women can pawn shit off to the state and then everywhere else. And that's what they be trying to do, which is why motherfuckers can't read and write and all. So anyway, go ahead, man, because I know you've been wanting to get in.
No. One last thing. So if we got, and I'm pulling these numbers out of my ass, right? I don't know these numbers to be fact. But let's say, because I'm seeing a lot of dudes married in the space. When we were just out the other day, Bernard, about 4 of us had on wedding rings, right? And you got a lot of dudes who want to be in long-term relationships because it's the safest investment when it comes to building wealth, right? Instead of being in these streets. So if we say we got 30 to 40, maybe even
that really depends though. But yeah, I mean, I'll go with it for the sake of hearing where you're going.
Right.
I'll go with it.
Let's say historical, right? Let's say 30 to 40, maybe even 50% of the men in the space are interested in long-term relationship. To Christian's point, yes, that's what we should be talking about, especially the conservative brothers who are trying to build wealth. It's not a promise you're going to keep the wealth, but you're trying to build wealth. Mm-hmm. And with that, I'm in the office, so I'm gonna jump out, guys.
Okay, absolutely.
Damn, what point did he? I must have.
The point, like the issue is, here's the problem.
Hold on, let's. I want to be clear on what was your question or point.
We need to be talking about something else.
No. So what Christian is saying, we should be focused on towards relationships and family if we are truly being conservative. And then we were also saying, then someone in this space, why aren't we talking about that more often, like the other side of the manosphere talks about it? So maybe that's the point. We should be focusing on talking about keeping and maintaining long-term relationships.
Okay, yes.
I know a lot of brothers don't like that.
The argument is that somebody that's married needs to create a channel. When I thought the gynocracy needed to be talked about, I got off my ass and I created my dusty ass channel. That's what I'm saying. I'm tired of all the married niggas acting like they so busy that
No,
they
no, no.
got so much. But what I'm saying,
Well,
no, because
for
no. I've asked this question. I actually farm people out to Anton because he married and he talk about it.
but no, the person who actually I think is
Because he's got a
effectively
channel.
the person who I think is effectively doing that is Angry Man. Because Angry Man is essentially married. I don't even know. I don't
But
know if they
here's the
signed.
problem. Here's the
I don't
problem.
know.
Angry
I don't.
Man.
Hold on, really, let me just make my point. I don't know if they went and signed legally binding documents or not, but
Right.
that's his wife. According, he said
Well-
it's his wife, and he got on the ring. So
Well-
Angry Man. So I'm the reason I'm highlighting him in that because a lot of the men who lurk around this space who be married, not all, but it's a loud percentage of married men who are against many aspects of this space. And when a man is against many aspects of this space, they're quite often kind of simpish, and that's a bad look for the men and that's a bad look for the men who do want a family. But the way the way in the context that Angry Man, like, because Keep It 100 is talking about a Mary Brown. We ain't talking about those type of married men.
Oh, okay,
Angry Man is a situation where a man who is not a legally top-down structured patriarchy, but is operating from a patriarchal leadership of his family and running it that way, and he do talk about it. So that's cool. That's cool. All right, go ahead.
Because people will hear, I got a problem with Angry Man, they'll clip that shit and run with that. That's why I want to make sure I let people finish my point on that. The issue is most of them don't like Angry Man. Because Angry Man is because their issue ain't what car designer said, which is, well, you're not talking about long-term relationships. The issue is most of them dudes are a lot of them dudes didn't even like Kevin Samuels because they don't want women to be checked. That's number one. Number two, they don't like Angry Man because Angry Man represents a street dude aesthetic that they don't like. Because there's also like a certain type of dude they want to hear this from. And it was the same thing with Kevin in the street. It's the same thing. So when people say it's not just the content, but like I said, Anton on his personal channel talks about marriage. And so this idea that and he ain't in our space, but the idea is there ain't nobody talking about this. There's somebody talking about everything that's got some kind of following on YouTube. What it is oftentimes is people want to tell us what we need to be talking about. And I
don't like that either. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, people are not gonna get you. The thing is, and another thing that doesn't get talked about is the fact that SYSBM talks about relationships, but it ain't gonna be with black women. And a lot of y'all want black women. Y'all want those black women. And so the thing is, they don't want your ass when it comes to marriage. They don't.
Okay.
Even Obsidian came to that conclusion. Like, black men want black women a lot more than black women want black men. That's the reality. And being desperate because economics is fucked up don't count. And when I say yo ass, I'm talking about a lot of these dudes. And if we're talking about, well, it's this population that's married, because I don't think it's 30%. Because here's the thing. There's a difference between cohabitating with somebody and being married. And you're going to have a different mentality. Sub-Zero 36, shout out to Sub-Zero 3639. Make sure y'all subscribe to him because they killed this channel. He said something and they deleted his channel. So type in Sub-Zero 3639 live. Yeah, they did that the other day. That's what Sub-Zero
wow.
did. So, yeah, so I don't know what he said.
I shared that video. I'm like, oh, damn.
But they deleted his. So I'm just saying this to help him out because Sub-Zero he's not married, but he's in a cohabitated relationship with the mother of his kid, raising his son. She's on the same program. She's on the program more than motherfuckers that are married. You know.
So I'm trying to kiss people off within this last thing, and that is, I might start I normally on my channel talk about health, getting in shape, working out routines, but I might start talking a little bit about being married because that total commitment to marriage, right? That total commitment to marriage, going down, getting a license that don't cost much. It's not a major step. It's not that much different from a dude who's been in the dedicated relationship for a woman for 10 years because you got common law marriage, right? So what's really the difference? But
it depends on the state.
Signing that paper for that full commitment, it is a little different.
Well, the reason why people don't sign the paper is because of the laws. Ain't nobody like Jason Black, all these dudes that cape for black women, they not signing. It's the laws. It is the divorce. That's
I
the
get it. I get
issue.
it.
So
Yeah.
again, and see, this is and another thing that happens too is look, I'm gonna tell you right now, if dudes have that feeling, because let's be clear here, even there's people identify conservatism as like all like this one thing and liberalism is this one thing. People
Mhm.
can be conservative on certain things and liberal on other things depending on what it is.
Right.
And the reality of the situation is the United States and the Republic. Look, I don't give a damn the white. I have never seen a white woman in a Republican Party redo or get advocate to get laws removed that a white liberal woman has passed. So, and this is what what's it called was talking about earlier. They can cap that conservative shit. What do they vote for when they're actually in that booth? And just like how a lot of people wouldn't have thought white women would have voted for Trump the way they did. So it's not always the same thing. It's a power move a lot of times, and dudes get too much into that feeling of I want to be a husband. I want to hit this thing, and you can do that. I'm not here to tell you not to, but if you don't know why you're doing it. Like if you really talk to black men, and I would inform me about marriage is black men that were and are married. I know 3 black men. The only reason they're not married is because they're widowers. And they had very attractive black women as well. And they are raising their kids and raising them kick ass. 3 black men. And they had control of their shit. And even them, they would say, look, if this don't work out, I'm going to get me a foreign chick. They were saying that back then. This is way before I got on the internet.
Right.
So, and these are dudes that can get women. And they got the woman they wanted. Not dudes that, they had to kind of, beg their way into a marriage.
Right.
So
You
my
know,
point is,
hold on, wait, let me. Oh, go ahead.
one
so
last thing.
because I'm actually got to hop off with this. So my thing is, one of the common traits amongst those 3 versus a lot of the people I've seen, a lot of dudes, if you actually tell them
3?
to describe a marriage,
What 3?
to
What 3?
the dudes that inform me about marriage, the black men that inform me about marriage.
Okay.
When you look at a lot of the black men don't have direction on marriage, how it's supposed to go, what are their expectations, where do they want it to go. It's like a rudder, a wheel that's just spinning and spinning and spinning, and they allow popular media to define what it is unless they had obviously a father in the home and a marriage that they can model it after. This is why dudes get influenced by a lot of synth music, Jagged Edge, all this other stuff. They get married because they want the feeling of saying, I've hit this milestone, and then the woman is making plans, as far as if this doesn't work. And if she's not doing that, she's got women around her that's doing that. This is what Mr. Palmer and Angry Man talks about, how you have all these women around them. This whole even if the woman's not bad. That was the biggest thing about Divorce Corp. It wasn't so much what the white women were doing. It was how these lawyers gas these chicks up and convince them, because they really want to liquidate the estate, meaning both of them, and get their billables. So I'm not saying this lets women off the hook, but it ain't just that these women are evil and they just do that. It's the whole society problem. Dudes are just going into stuff like deers in the fucking headlights. And usually like Bernard or like Fantastic, they can run that race to the point where they can catch up, off the strength of their wits and manhood. Most men are not doing that. Most men are getting fucked with no Vaseline.
Right.
And then they got to try to recover that if they can.
And then remember,
why I push
most
back
guys
against
get married
that.
when they blue pill. Most of us, me included, get married when you blue pill. Something happens, maybe a misstep in the marriage. For a lot of times, like me, you become more successful. You start looking around and you say, wait a minute, I'm becoming a man I always wanted to be. I deserve more. And you start putting your foot down. That's when you become red pill in the mirror. Now, if you got it going on like that, the woman will follow along. She'll jump on with the program, and that's because
that depends. If that depends on the woman that she is.
Yeah. There you go. Why I say if because
I thought you said if you got it going on like that, she will.
Okay.
Jump on board and follow the program. No, that's contingent upon her and how.
Yes.
And what she is and how she is. Yeah. Well, go ahead.
And then I put this last part of that, and then it was debated. I think if the woman thinks I'm not going to be able to find another guy like this or do better than a guy like this, they might be more inclined to fall in line. But there
But
is
that's
no problem.
rare amongst dudes that are married though, because it's a certain personality type. Is you got to remember this environment today is not a fucking marriage environment. Like
No,
I'm
no, no, no.
35, so I'm not speaking for dudes that they 45. But this is not a marriage. This is not a marriage. Like I'm talking about in the when I say today, I mean the last 15 years.
Well,
This
Yeah.
is
hold on,
not an
wait, Ed.
environment.
Before you go, well, I don't want to make sure we don't miss something that car designer Chris said. When you said in order for her, she'll be more likely to get in line
Uh-huh.
if it's in a position where she feels she can't do better than this man.
Right.
There's only two options or ways you get there. Either either you become super nigga, or you lower your standard to the point to where you're going to be above her. You either you be a 6 with a 3, and then okay, now she feel like she can't do better, or you just become super nigga.
Right. Right. I
And
agree with
remember,
that.
Those are the two options. Either
Yeah.
become a top 3%er,
Yeah.
or deal with a bottom 3%er.
and you're
It's like
competing.
that's not viable.
Yeah, and you're competing. You're not competing with necessarily reality. You're competing with the delusions in her head. You're competing with social media. You're competing.
Yeah.
You're also competing with her cheating on you with Hot Girl Summer. Which, when
Mhm.
I say Hot Girl Summer, I mean look at what Larsa Pippen did. Now Larsa Pippen want to find religion, and that's on a lot of that is on Scotty, and that's just to take it off of black women. That's on Scotty. To be honest, because he took her back like an idiot. But now Scotty now has a younger chick. But look at not only what she did to Scotty, what she did to her own kids. Because her own kids
Right.
are embarrassed about the bullshit. Look at Will Smith, Jada Pinkett. I don't give a fuck. None of y'all ain't most of these other than Denzel and maybe it's Samuel Jack. Money motherfuckers are overtaking Will as far as height, look, accomplishment. In multiple careers, and guess what? They ain't got nothing to do with how Jada is, because Jada is what Jada is,
Now,
and
you
a
make a
lot of
good
black
point.
men
You make a
can't
good point.
accept that.
And the reason I say you make a good point, because when you bring out the Will Smith analogies and so forth, think about this, and I have. If you're super nigga, to Bernard's point, you're winning until she figures out how to match that super nigga. Then all of a sudden you're in another concern.
But here's the crazy shit. That ain't even no. They can just blow shit up because they can. They think about it. A lot of these chicks, they don't, when they get these peak dudes and they leave them, they even Kim, they date down. They go down. They don't get close. Or like Kim ain't even necessarily. Kim probably just tired of black men. But truth be told, Kim ain't. They all they just drive down. But and then they be cool, and they try to be cool with it. It's about a Shanice O'Neal, same thing. She upgraded when she got with Shaq because she had an architect upgraded with Shaq, and then she ain't never, because then it becomes about them, and it's not just black women, but they're the most bold with it. Because so same thing with Britney Spears and Kevin Federline. I mean, I can name non-black women too. I'm not just saying it's just sisters.
Yeah.
It's an American thing, and the reason why is because you don't have a framework that actually look. People say patriarchy is checks and balances. That's what this needs to be. I would ask anybody, what's the checks and balances against a woman, regardless of race, doing bullshit? What's the real checks and balances embedded into the law? There are plenty of checks and balances on men doing shit, black men doing shit. You see one today, anyway, there's plenty of checks and balances. There are no checks and balances.
I'm very curious about what the hell you was about to say when you took that breath and then changed your mind.
Go ahead, guys.
No, I was going to talk about the Celtic. All right, man. Appreciate the Celtic situation.
All right. Yeah, I don't even know that much about that story, but real quick, before y'all go, I want to make sure I do ask the question: what the hell did Sub-Zero say?
I don't know.
Oh, damn. Okay, Arian, put the link to his channel again, so I can't even find where you posted.
I don't want to speculate, but I don't know, because honestly, there's certain things. I mean, Sub-Zero don't be saying. I mean, me and Sub-Zero only disagree with you, as far as the small hat thing. Like, he think that should be talked about a little bit more, but he'll never promote that on his channel though. And Sub-Zero don't say no crazy shit. He just says, they control the media, which is true. They control a lot of the media, especially the black media, which is true. So he's not saying nothing that's like false. It's just he puts like sometimes what me and him disagree is like, that's if you deal with that, you deal with everything. I don't agree with that. Where that, that's the place. You know me, I'm on the gynocracy shit. So that's what you need to deal with, and like I said, Darwin's dealing with that right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I'm not happy that black women are getting evicted. It is what it is. That's up to them. That's, anyway. Sub talks about guys in the manosphere crying about. Sub has always talked about that because Sub buys into Steve the Dean's bullshit.
Wait, hold on, wait,
Your way
time
through
out.
it.
Hey, wait, Jaquan, that ain't cool, man. All right, the man channel just got knocked, and we promoting his new channel. Don't bring up his negatives when we trying to, say, hey, go support this brother. His channel just got knocked. Don't random. That's an area that's one of the areas where I didn't even read the shit, but I think I'm talking about Sub-Zero talk about the minister. Yeah, that's one of the areas where I disagree with him. But other than that, Sub-Zero, cool brother, does a lot, teaches IT to brothers in this space. Like, no. So we ain't going. He fell down. They knocked him down. We trying to pick him back up. This ain't the time to bring up a criticism. So don't come here with that shit.
And without jumping too deep into that, here's the reality of the situation. You see, like, again, talking about motherfuckers crying ain't gonna help the black community. The reality of the situation is, let me take it off of Sub-Zero. Jason Black would say that same shit. Jason Black ain't got no kids. He ain't married. He's saying you need to be 40 years old before you can be ready to marry an African American woman. If you're not smart enough to read into what that is, if you believe that you need to wait till you're 40 years old in order to marry a woman, and you don't understand that the pool, that is a commentary on the pool of women, then you're not intelligent enough to be married. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's not for you, because you're gonna get effed in the laws. It's like a gun, and you're gonna shoot yourself.
Yeah, let me say this, and keep in mind, I don't know how often Sub-Zero talks about that. If he talks about that every day, like that's his whole damn content.
No, it's not.
So yeah. So if that represents maybe 2% of his content, then it's not a problem. I do got a problem with somebody if that's like 90% of their content talking shit about the manosphere. Y'all crying about women y'all can't get, then I got a problem with them. But if somebody just does that 3% of the time, then that's a small disagreement. But anyway, so let's go ahead and step a little bit Nate instigating. Let's step in this shit. He says, he's talking to you, and he says, tell your buddy BGS that voting Democrat is voting for the gynocracy. What are your thoughts on that?
BGS is a political agnostic, and mainly he talks about geopolitics, and he talks about policy. Now, there may be people under him that talked about advocating for the Democratic Party, but really BGS is for advocating for the country not falling apart and turning into the apocalypse. And so he really thinks beyond Republicans and Democrats. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the same Republicans are the reason why Mid-Jackson, Mississippi can't drink fucking water. So you have to think beyond. So you got to think beyond. You have to think beyond. Just like how the same governmental bodies or same media apparatuses that are letting Brett Favre pretty much off the hook. You got to think. Black men have to think beyond just Republican and conservative. I mean, Democrat and Republican, because that's really a false choice in and of itself. Like, for instance, I live in the South. I live in a state where the Republicans and Democrats actually work when they have checks. The Republicans have a veto-proof majority. So the Democrats have to, or they're 2 seats from that. They're always like 2 or 3 seats from that, or they have it. So even though the Democrats get governor, so we have very strong checks and balances. Now, I want weed to be legal. That's a liberal idea. I want it to be legal for the tax benefits, because that'll put us in competition with Florida and Texas on a lot of the stuff as far as attractive money. But going back directly to what you're saying, Nate, you can talk to him yourself. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of y'all, I'm going to say this, I'm going to piss y'all off, fuck y'all. A lot of y'all niggas don't like talking to BGS because he's smarter than y'all. And he's more real red, and he has more grasp of the information of verticals than you all do. So you all get mad because he starts fucking with y'all worldview. That's why y'all like to, some people, and I like Nate, but I'm just saying, that's why certain people like to come at me, because I'm easier to deal with in him. Because trust and believe, you can easily bring your ass on his panel and talk to him, or you can go to Art Install. Art Install is available on Tuesdays and Thursdays. BGS is there. Art of Igmore is available on Saturdays. BGS is there. If you go on Thursdays, you'll probably catch DC from the the Code Breakers. I mean, I've had drag out arguments with Mike V. But truth be told, y'all want to have these little arguments. I mean, I don't know what you want. The majority of black men in this space are more conservative, but here's the issue: everything ain't political. The black manosphere is not political like that. That's the problem. That's why when we used to have Anthony Brian Logan in here, Obsidian is still conservative, but that was more of a big part of his channel. O'Shea, that was a bigger part of his channel. The black manosphere is really not necessarily on being political. We're on getting the stuff that men need done. And really, regardless of what party, it's about getting the policy through. But see, the problem is y'all want to turn the black manosphere into this political shit. And see, that's when y'all start stepping out of
Wait, hold on. To BGS is, I think, also trying to turn it into.
No, he is not.
More not hardcore allegiance to one political party, but he is saying, I think I have heard him. He said not in the way that
policy.
Nate is talking about. Not in the way, I was just about to say, not in the way that Nate is talking about. But when BGS came on my channel, he was talking about, that's when he was saying aspects of the gender war is over. It's time to move it more into that
policy.
Political arena.
Yes, policy. But there's a difference between having policy conversations and look, okay, well, you need to take that up with BGS. Don't come to me.
Who you talking about? Who you
talking about? Nate Dogg. Nate
all right, hold on. Wait, hold on.
Put it on the chat.
I know,
he said he
I want to know. I want to know what he said. That's all I'm saying.
Well, ask Nate that. I don't know what he said.
No. I want to know. I want to know what Nate said. It's
up here. He was on Bernard's show taking shots at me.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know what you were
addressing me about what another man did, and I wasn't there when he was doing that. But we've had these arguments. He's had it with Obsidian. Let's be clear here. Anthony Brian Logan is a better debater than all of y'all. And Anthony Brian Logan got washed. Now, Anthony Brian Logan is sitting at 900,000 subscribers. When we was in the Coliseum days, back in the day, he got washed when he came through there. And he's a much better at really harnessing these arguments and talking points. We had, what's the other dude that Charles Faulkner doesn't like? The dude's got like 2 million now. Black dude. Conservative. He always saying
Brandon Tatum.
Yeah, he came through our the Coliseum. And he's a nice guy, and I mean that. Like, Brandon is not an asshole. It's just he say some crazy shit, So my point is, just like Candace Owens said some crazy shit, talking about I'm glad that the Queen took over Africa and shit. Like, anyway. So my point is,
even in that video that I played, I didn't make it all the way there, but I think she said some crazy shit in that video.
Caribbean, so that's what I charge that off. That's a Caribbean L. Like, just like how I didn't know Nia Long was Caribbean. So we arguing about a Caribbean being cheated on by a Nigerian. So anyway,
now, this is my take on BGS and some of the people in this space disagreement with him. Like, I think a lot of it is not warranted. I don't understand where it comes from. Sort of like what I said about Sub-Zero. If I can agree with him on like 90% of everything, but it's just a certain few places he goes there, I don't quite go there. I'm not going to make a mountain out of that molehill. And I think some people do that with BGS, if in the most unwarranted way possible. And I understand
threat.
I understand that there is a divide between, there are some conservative or Republican black men in this space, and it's some men who are not with that shit. And BGS is kind of the one that's I guess he represents one of the ones that I guess they look at him as he represents the black men who are still on the Democratic Party.
Well,
and I don't see that. I don't see that with BGS. I see some people, and this is I don't even want to get into
The
that when we start
problem
talking.
is
Go
the
ahead. Go ahead.
problem is the way people see it is you're either with on what I'm on my ideology or you on their ideology. They don't see nothing different. They just as bad as these liberals. Like it's just any other way. You know, it's that tunnel vision. That's what that is. BGS is mapped
Hey,
out.
Q4, what is hilarious? You said this is hilarious. What's funny? Explain yourself.
BGS have mapped out what he is. He has made himself available for y'all to talk about. I mean, even Sub-Zero, you say, oh, he just socialist. He just this. He just this. He used to do technical analysis. I mean, you know, and for the most part, what BGS says, he don't even like talk about politics. I mean, hell, BGS is one of the first ones in this space to say white supremacy has been in a decline. And the pro-blacks can't stand it. He said that. So, you know,
Yeah,
and so
and
it's
I remember.
so he
I
ain't
remember when he said. I remember when he said it's in decline, and I liked when he said that because that's definitely closer to my position. But I think there is a percentage of us that do got a problem, and you know, me and you kind of bumped heads a little bit on this a few times when y'all start talking about white supremacy a lot, and I'm like,
well, the reality is y'all want to protect. Like my thing is, I'm not big. If people want to live in their own bubbles, believing what the fuck they want to believe, no matter what, you know, I hope that those bubbles never get fucking popped. Like, you know, you're in like Jackson. Oh, so Jackson, Mississippi is that's just happenstance. That just happened. You know, it just so happened that you know the black people are concentrated there. You know, the reality is certain people see more than what they necessarily talk about. Because here's the thing: if I were to overwhelm you with receipts, what's going to happen is people are just going to start pushing back because people are going to see that as an attack. So if you start arguing at the fact to dismantle somebody's argument, this is why a lot of motherfuckers don't like me in this space outside of the political shit, because I'm not really political like that. You know, in this space. They don't like because I start dismantling their shit, and then their whole worldview start getting fucked up. So they start seeing me. This is why people think about it. This is why dudes like Clarence need to destroy the entire black manosphere. Because what it is they see us as a threat to their worldview. And they see us target like there's certain people that don't fuck with BGS on a political side, but when it comes to that breaking down what the bitch has done, what she will do, how dudes were bitch made and going along with it, they completely agree on that. So and this is what
and hold on. And my thing is BGS is so good, effective, and efficient at that. I'm like, y'all can just live and let live on the little political difference. I mean, like my question is, okay, as far as what you just described right there, yeah, BGS is real effective and efficient at doing that. And do you think he genuinely care about the plight of black men? Do we have black men best interest in mind in whatever he's doing?
Got one better. And I say this.
Hold on, wait, time out. I thought, if once you understand that and agree with that, then that's where I say let's stop all the damn hate.
Well, you know. I got one better.
Well, it's not hate though. Hold on.
I'm gonna say this last thing. I'm gonna let you rock. The question is, does BGS have a problem with black men voting Republican? The answer is no. So my thing is, what's the problem?
I don't see the problem. I see a small disagreement that people have with somebody who
where's the threat?
Who is for the overall cause of this space.
But so, Bernard, have you ever heard him advocate that black men shouldn't vote Republican?
Yeah, I heard him do it.
All right, go ahead. Well,
plenty of us have heard him do it.
All right, cool. Hold on. I'm passing right to you, Fantastic. Give you the floor on this one. But Q47, you just came in here and said this is funny or this is hilarious. I asked you what's funny. Then you said it's funny how neither party cares about your plight, the plight of black people. It's up to us as a people to figure out our solutions. Neither part cares.
Then you're dumb because you have to participate. What you're basically saying is don't participate in the political system. Just like, for instance, you can be like F the Democrats, but believe, and there's different ways to participate in the political system too. That's one of these, I want to say something, but not say something comments.
I know. And then when I held his feet to the fire to explain what he mean, I think he said something general that we do understand that neither party is really working hard for black people, and we are trying to figure it out and solve it. So I don't see how that's a funny
the problem
comment.
Now is black men don't move.
He's saying like it's a funny comment. Is that somebody is saying, no, the Republicans care about us. No, the Democrats really care. Nobody said that. So I don't get what's funny. But I want to go to Fantastic. Shout out to Osama Abdul. He says, fantastic. Did you dip off Mary?
Yeah, okay, so here come.
All right, come on, man. All right, fantastic. Ignore that one and go ahead and make your case that you was about to make.
Hey man, I love it, bro. I love it. Come back and niggas still hating from a 9-month hiatus. I still got it, baby. I still got it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you bringing me up. Appreciate you bringing me up, Bernard. Listen, man. Listen. I know that's y'all granddaddy, daddy.
PTSD.
Y'all's granddaddy, daddy. I understand, but me personally have had some of the craziest run-in with this fella and the stuff that he said. Now, I'm not gonna disregard him. Everything, he has a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and you really can't beat that. But this man was one of the staunchest anti-Trump people, and he's one of the staunchest, us versus them when it comes to Democrat versus Republican. Okay, when I don't even believe it should be either one. It should be who's giving us the best deal. Okay, he's on record for that, and that's I really can't believe when people say, "Oh, he's never said that." When we got hella streams, that's the wonderful thing about streaming. You can just go back and look at some of this stuff.
He's anti the shit y'all be talking about. Y'all don't represent the arbiter of Republicanism.
Who is y'all? Exactly.
When I say no, well, hold on. When I say y'all, I'm talking about the black people, this iteration. Because see, this is what, and unfortunately, I would love to sit here, and I knew you wanted to talk, and I love to sit here, but I do gotta go. But this is what people gotta understand. Before y'all and Nate, any of y'all came around, there was different iterations.
You keep saying y'all. Listen,
well, when I say
I gotta straighten you, fam, because you keep saying y'all. And again, I'm not a Republican.
You're not a black conservative.
No, I'm not, bro. I'm a what works it is. I understand the true understanding of fucking political process in which I'm voting for whoever is going to give me something. Okay, I don't fucking identify myself as Republican or Democrat. So that's why you keep saying y'all, and I'm not a y'all. I'm not a y'all. But at the same time, like I said, during the last administration had this country doing its best fiscally ever in history. Okay, and all BGS had to say was, well, he's this and that, racism. Still bringing up racism, bro. Racism is like cancer, is like the common cold, is like anything else. It's never going to end. Trying to fight, quit, stop, or anything with racism is a pointless fucking discussion. It's not even worth talking about.
All right,
because it's an ideology.
Yeah, so I don't agree with the characterization of how you framing that, because that's the thing, because a lot of that shit is, if you want kissing Trump's ass, a lot of niggas was getting mad, and everybody, I don't give a fuck about Trump one way or the other, and there's a lot of dudes that do fit in that category.
Well,
hold on, there's a lot of Republicans that don't like. Let's be very clear here. There's a lot of Republicans. Trump used to be a Republican, and I get that fits with what you were talking about, because you said what works it is. And Trump was a Republican and a Democrat at one point, and I get
exactly.
And you're saying it worked. You advocated for the metrics of what the country was doing when he was in office, regardless of what flag he carried. So I give you that. But what I'm talking about is when a lot of that shit was coming up, what it was a lot of people doing, and they were trying to basically use Republicanism and Trump and liking Trump. And if you didn't like Trump, somehow you just said fuck everything. And that's kind of a mischaracterization of what was going on.
But hold on. And my counter to that would be you're mischaracterizing, because if you were for Trump, you were a racist. That happened to you were a coon, you were a racist, you were a Republican.
That wasn't in this space.
Hold on, fam. I didn't cut you off when you was going. All right. So you were all of those things. So the misconception was actually coming from the other side. If you supported Trump at all, you were a coon ass Nick. Excuse me. You were a coon individual who was just slurping and gobbling down Trump. When no, I didn't give a damn about the whole thing. It was the fact of the matter that Trump had, especially this space alone is proof of that. Under Trump, you had the biggest boom of the manosphere probably in recent years. Would you not agree, Edward? That was in 2020, right? But before the pandemic happened, because I'm one of those people that was a benefactor. Hell, Bernard, me and you came around at the same time, right? 2019. Yeah. All right, so that's what I'm trying to tell you.
January 2020 for me.
Yeah,
Basically,
20
same thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Actually start doing their own channel in 2020. So
Mhm.
even through the pandemic, because we had already, got roots in and stuff like this, and everybody was booming off of the stimulus and whatever, whatnot, what have you. People still had money. The economy hadn't crashed. Hell, that's how you got a lot of the content creators here that and another form of income or whatnot. Not to mention, when it just came to job availability and all the stuff that happened before COVID.
All right, man.
All right, well, I know. All you can do is
I
all
don't
right,
agree.
man.
I don't agree with that, but I gotta go. I gotta go. I would love to have that debate
Oh,
because
hey, whenever, man.
I think
Ain't that
that's
change?
I think that's complete bullshit. But okay.
Okay.
I mean, we assigning YouTube productivity. I mean, that.
So how? So you just think that's a coincidence?
A lot of it. Zoom was growing way before, and
Do you understand?
certain trends were going on before that.
But do you understand that you're helping my point by saying that? So
what you were saying is no, it was before Trump. You got it.
No, it wasn't
Wait a
before
minute,
Trump.
wait
What the
a
hell are you
minute,
talking
wait a
about?
minute.
Now you definitely tripping.
These channels started blowing up largely in part because of COVID, right?
Yes, and COVID ain't got nothing to do with Trump, but whatever. Yeah, that's.
I can't. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Wait. Hold on. So hold on. How COVID got nothing to do with Trump? When again, and this is where we get into it, and you really got to have a conversation. So when Trump didn't want to do the shutdowns, everybody was saying how horrible he was. BGS in particular, because BGS is one of these pro vaccine. The vaccine's not gonna do nothing bad to you. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's been proven, and that was a lie. Hold on, no, brother, no. It is a part, brother. It is a part of the whole conversation, and this is what you granddaddy, daddy protectors like to do. You like to try and isolate and take away from what, brother? I'm being respectful.
I gotta go. When you know I gotta
well,
throwing a little shots.
You done said that. Ed, you done said that 5 times. Ed, you still here? Stop it. We know how you get down, brother. That ain't changed.
I'm not dude.
That ain't changed. You still here, brother. You still here. You're still here. So go ahead and let's just do it, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead,
man. I'll do my own stream later
on.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Ed, thanks for coming through, Ed. Thanks for coming through. Fantastic. You gotta quit running people off my panel, man. God damn it. I'm coming here running people off.
Bernard, just show me where's the lie. Show me where I lie, Bernard. That's all I got. And I even, brother, I'm checking my language and everything, man. I ain't trying to mess your stream up or nothing, man. I'm being this, this is new, fantastic, man. Fantastic.
It's already messed up, man. We've been talking about all kind of shit. But shout out to Otis. He says BGS said multiple times he is politically agnostic. He said he wants black men to be informed. That's it. He doesn't care who you vote for. I think that's a true statement, but I do think it's true that BGS does have a particular problem with what I will call, and I'll kind of put myself in this. I'll put myself in this category: the right of center, conservative culture warrior black man who takes that with how I just described it and kind of talk politics through that window and not through understanding and breaking down the history and focusing on policy aspect of it. I mean, if I had to say what he kind of got a problem with, basically, hold on, this is what he got a problem with. If niggas start sounding like Larry Elder, he got a problem. That's what he got a problem with, But if somebody just, is just voting Republican, I don't think he got a serious issue with that. But if you're running your mouth and talking and sounding like Larry Elder, I think he has a personal issue with that. I think I heard him say that he was, because when Larry Elder was doing his radio show in California, it was a bunch of black people that protested and got Larry Elder kicked off the air. And I think I heard BGS say he was one of the people that ran Larry Elder out of California.
And I can't say I heard him. I can't say I heard him say that. But again, I'm glad this brother, spent his wonderful $5. You can say a lot of things, but what's our number one thing we say here, Bernard? Don't listen to what people say. Listen to what they do. And anything, if you in support, if you vote silently and you just a voter, BGS has no issue or problem with you. Hey, I'm a Republican or whatever, I voted Republican. And cool. But if you talk from anything other than a Democratic or liberal perspective, he does have a problem with you. And it's been proven time and time again. He got a whole little that whatever they call it over there of like-minded niggas. That's the same way. Again, bro, the full thing of this came out with the COVID shit, bro. BGS was one of the most biggest advocates of pro-vaccine this, pro-vaccine that. Is not gonna do this, and not gonna do. He had bald old ass nurse niggas talking shit like they were actual scientists and shit, and hadn't did no research. And people were dying. Okay, yeah, people were dying, but were people dying from COVID or of COVID or with COVID? Again, all these different things. We had the data and stuff to support it. Then at the same time, they was blaming Trump. Yes, the BGS and that crew was blaming Trump because, oh, he didn't act early enough. He should have immediately did it as soon as he knew about it. He knew about this since December, and he waited. So again, that's what I'm telling you, bro. It's a lot of stuff that, and again, to a lot of people may not know of it because it's just the time goes by. You know what I'm saying? At this point, it's almost 2 years old. So you know what I mean?
All right. I mean, I can honestly say I don't dig that deep. I click on BGS videos if they're titled in a way where I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. But sitting there and listening to a live stream panel, I remember he did say something about getting the jab. I don't know. Listen, people got an issue with him. I don't see the problem as much. He don't like Larry Elder sounding niggas. I will say that. That's about all I've noticed. But I don't see as much of a problem. But hey, it is what it is. Shout out to everybody supporting the team. Stacker Starve sent a $30 Cash App like an hour and a half ago. So shout out to Stacker Starve. Appreciate that. And you sent that $6 Cash App. You still here. Whatever it is what it is. I can see you. You down there. But all right, car designer Chris in the building says when it comes to politics or marriage or any give and take relationship, just read 48 Laws of Power and Sun Tzu. You will know how to move in this matrix. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. I'm probably about to get up out of here anyway, because combined to the last hour of the stream that got took down in these 2 hours, I'm 3 hours in, didn't even realize it. Jaquan in the building. Hey, he just picked up a new sub today. Jaquan says, I'm subbing the Fantastic channel ASAP. Moderators, if you put that in the chat room before we get up out of here so you can go check out, go sub the Fantastic channel. Oh, yeah. Hey, if you here, because, yeah, I probably got new people here. Fantastic been, was a major person, major pillar in this space, still is. But he was going off, working for, what I forgot? Navy. Yeah, he's in the Navy. He was in the Navy. He's in the Navy, so he was gone for like 9 months. 9 months out at sea. He back. So if you're new here, you ain't sub to Fantastic. Make sure you go check him out. Oh, I didn't mean to click on the did you go marry Jessica X super chat. There it is right there.
Right. Hey man, man. Actually, I'm divorced happily, and I'm looking for all the fine ass thick red bones, and I had to add to my collection. So by any means, yeah, man, if you know one or know of some, send them my way, man. BABG, big ass black guy, CEO, whatever. You know what I mean? Hey, man, I don't belong to nobody. I'm free.
All right. So we about to get up there. Y'all see it on the screen. Y'all see it in the chat room. Go support Mr. Fantastic. Go support Mr. Fantastic. Get his channel back in that algorithm. Get him back in the algo. All right, y'all. We about to get up out of here. Oh yeah. He bought them thick red bones. He make no apologies for that. No apologies. But Irvin Reed in the building says we are too in love with Team Think that we become stagnant. Yeah, I think I know what you mean by that. There's something there. There's a there. But all right, y'all. Appreciate everybody who supported the stream. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.